again, coming at you from SWOSU eSports. With me is Coach Hayden Harrington of the SWOSU eSports team. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. So I just got a few questions for you.
Okay.
And so for starting out, how long have you been at SWOSU?
I've been at SWOSU since like 2008 as a student. Graduated here in 2014. I came here in high school first, concurrent enrollment, and then graduated, got my master's here while I was being a web developer and doing freelancing for IT stuff. And then after that, they asked me to be an instructor, so I became an instructor. I've been teaching for about 3 years now.
Okay.
And then this whole last year, I started the whole eSports thing up.
What kind of classes are you currently teaching?
It's computer science. I do a lot of hardware, software stuff. Do some programming, some cybersecurity. I'm kind of the hybrid. I get to teach a little bit of everything.
All right. So 8 years, and your birthday's tomorrow, by the way. So happy birthday.
Well, thank you.
What made you get into esports?
I've been playing games my whole life. You know, everybody, like, all my friends played games and stuff like that. We always played competitively. We played Halo competitively. We went to tournaments in OKC and in Tulsa. This was kind of when this was, you know, esports hadn't been named esports yet. It was just Halo tournaments and stuff like that. And then I also was not just into that. I was into like card games. So I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic the Gathering. I did those tournaments. And so, but then I really got into competitive. I was playing Gear of War tournaments a lot, like the very first Gears of War. I was playing a lot of Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4. And at one point I was playing Rainbow Six Siege really competitively. We were playing ranked every day for like 2 years straight. And so, but I liked the competitiveness. And so that's why I was introduced to Twitch, got into seeing how big tournaments were taking over. I was trying to tell SWOSU to get on it. This is probably 5 years ago, and saying we need to get on this esports scene. I said we need to be one of the first schools to do it. And a lot of people thought it was just going to be a fad. It was just kind of what's going on now. And then last year, they asked, "Hey, what's this esports stuff?" So I said, "Guys, all right, I gotcha. Let's get into esports."
So you spent several years competitive in different aspects. What made you decide to do coaching?
I did coaching before, not in esports, but like in regular sports. And so, and kind of doing coaching and teaching, being a teacher at the same time is being a coach, but in the academics. And so, it's always gone hand to hand for me. And I was like, you know what? I can teach people how to play games. I already do it for the most part now. Teaching my buddies, hey, do this, do that. This is what's going to make us better as a team, playing online. If I could do that and help them get really high ranked, as much as, you know, high as I was, I could do this with students also. So why not get into it?
Okay. So with your years of competitive experience and at least a year coaching at SWOSU or fostering a SWOSU program, what has been your favorite game to either play or coach?
I really didn't know I was going to get into it with Rocket League. Rocket League is really fun to coach because it's a very different. Each mode is different, and what strategies and what metas you need to do. You know, for instance, 1v1 is going to be very different from 3 versus 3. And so with 3 versus 3, there's a whole rotation. You know, when you need to get boost, when you need to start boost, how many do you need to have downfield, you know, based on ball position, when you need to pass middle, you know, stuff like that, versus one versus one where you're just on the offense almost the entire time. And so learning the differences between those has been a lot of fun, and it helps when you have a lot of students who are really good at the game that have also taught me stuff that I didn't even think about, and so that back and forth has been really awesome. The other one I would say is Smash. I've already been, you know, I played Super Smash Brothers for a long time, but learning about, you know, one frame blocking and stuff like that has been really crazy. Even learning about certain TVs to use. They don't just use any TV that there is. It has to have the one frame rate to it. It's because that one frame can save you from losing an entire match. So the big, huge TVs that have like the big backs on them, those are some of the best TVs you can use in Super Smash Brothers, because the other ones are too delayed. So it's been very interesting learning about that kind of stuff.
Okay. So with different games and different students coming from different backgrounds, what kind of culture are you trying to establish with the SWOSU eSports?
The culture that we're trying to establish is kind of the same we have for computer club. We just want you to come out and play games. The only difference is this isn't as casual. With the SWOSU Computer Club, we play games for charities and stuff like that all the time. It's very casual. This, we want to be competitive. We want to be the best. Does that go above other things? No, it's not going to go above your academics and stuff like that. But this is a competitive play. So that's the culture we want. We still want it to be relaxed enough where you're not stressed about it. But we do want to be competitive. We want to represent SWOSU, and we want to be the best there is.
Okay. Is there anything particularly that sets SWOSU apart from other esports programs?
Right now, I would say the arena. The arena is the big one that's setting it apart. Most people are having game centers where they're taking like an old building and refabbing it, just putting a bunch of computers against the walls and stuff like that. And then they're taking like an old classroom and just putting computers up front for people to watch. Our arena is almost like a big movie theater, has gigantic projector screen TVs, has 2 levels to it. I have not seen a 2-level venue before, but that's just me. There's probably 1 or 2 out there, but it's very unique in that aspect of the program, that our facility is very different than other places. We also have just a big gaming community on campus already. I've fostered that through the SWOSU Computer Club. So we have just all sorts of people playing all sorts of stuff. And one of the biggest ones we have is probably Super Smash Brothers. We have a very large community for that. Like they had their own Discord and everything before we even started esports, and then I got turned on to that. And so they do their own events all the time, and so I think that's a big one that separates us, is how big our Smash community is compared to other schools.
Okay. So you mentioned the new esports arena. What kind of programs are you looking forward to hosting in this new esports arena? What kind of competitive events?
Well, the games that we're playing, we're obviously going to do League of Legends, Overwatch, the newest Call of Duty game, whatever it's right now it's Cold War, but it changes almost twice a year. And then Rocket League and Super Smash. Those are the collegiate events that we're going to want to have in there. We're also wanting to do the charity work through the SWOSU Computer Club. Will probably be in there, and the Pioneer Event Center. We're also want to do high school outreach. We've already been contacted by the Western Oklahoma eSports Association. They want to do a lot of their stuff in there, like especially their regional and state stuff they want to do in that arena. Doing a lot of mentor programs through that arena with like Clinton Public Schools, Weatherford Public Schools. We're working on that right now. So there's a lot of stuff we want to do with that arena.
Okay, so you talked about high school. Traditionally in esports, there's been quite a large gap between like playing competitively in high school and then trying to get like into the professional scene. Mm-hmm. So where do you think collegiate esports fits in that equation of getting from playing with your friends in high school competitively to getting to the professional scene?
I think that it's going to be the gap of coaching. Of course, you're going to have coaches that are high school esports coaches. There's nothing wrong with those guys, but a lot of it, what we've seen is they're mostly chauffeurs. They're there because they want to be there for the kids, because the kids want to do this. But half those guys don't even know what games they're playing. They don't know the metas, anything like that. So if they're good enough on their own to do stuff like this, and then they get into a collegiate league, like at SWOSU or whatever other school, then if we have someone like me or a captain or other people in their community to help coach them up and show them to get to that next level, I think that's the biggest step, is getting that coaching for them. And then getting into the community, not just at SWOSU, but like say they play League of Legends, getting into the Oklahoma community and possibly the national community, and getting into that and making those connections there. Because in high school, you can only do so much because you're under 18. You're not supposed to be contacted by these people or whatever until they're of age. And so when they get into collegiate and they're coming up through those ranks, then people can start contacting them. And so I think having that guidance is a big step between collegiate and pro.
Okay. So where do you see collegiate esports going in the next 5 to 10 years?
It's exploding. It's going to explode. For instance, not everybody watches football. Not everybody watches basketball, wrestling, baseball, softball. But almost everybody plays video games in one way or another. Even now, my grandparents, they're like, I don't play video games. You're playing solitaire on your phone, aren't you? Well, yeah, you're playing a video game. And it's not just, used to, it would be the stereotypical nerd would be into video games. And it's not now. Everybody's into video games. So if you have something as big as this, where there's so many people watching, so many people doing it, if any kind of stereotype there is, it's going to blow up. And it's going to blow up big time. I think especially here at SWOSU it is. Because you're in western Oklahoma, there's not a whole lot of technology in western Oklahoma. And so Weatherford, I believe, is becoming a technology center for western Oklahoma. So all these kids that are, in the western half can flock to Weatherford to be a part of that eSports experience.
So what do you think, all these students coming in can gain from participating in the eSports program?
Biggest thing is community. I think a lot of gamers they've never probably been a part of that community process, especially a lot of the students I've been around. They're not jocks. They didn't play sports and stuff like that, so they were probably isolated by themselves for a long time. And then when they get into a game and they get into that community, especially in esports here, they'll gain that, that companionship, brotherhood, sisterhood, all that good stuff, to be part of something that's other than themselves. I think that's the biggest thing here.
So what should these prospective students avoid when coming into esports?
Being toxic. That's toxic communities, being toxic yourself. You need to be friendly, open, making sure that you are coaching other people, making that culture that everybody's included. And if you do see that, stay away from it, avoid it. We don't want, you just don't want that in your community, because then that'll split up communities and break up communities. That's all. Games don't survive without a community. So esports won't survive without a good community.
So is there any advice you could give to prospective students that are looking to enter collegiate esports or go to a competitive scene?
Yeah. Look for, whatever game you're playing, find people around you that are also playing that game. Find a community around you that's playing it. Even if it's, at your high school, if it's, a couple towns over, if it's, your local college, whatever you want to do, go find that community, go find people in it, ask them questions, play with them so they can see if you're good or if you're bad or what skills you need to work on, because good people in that community will help you out and extend or help make your skills better. That's what I would tell people to do.
Okay. Well, Coach, thanks for talking with us. This has been Aaron from SWOSU eSports with Coach Hayden Harrington. If you like to find any more info, please click on the other videos and hit that subscribe button and click on the bell icon. Have a good one.